to stormino.net. I hope you've been enjoying the interviews that we've had thus far. We've interviewed people from all walks of life and all professions and all religions. And I think this right here takes on that same kind of development. A young man I've met and got really close to the last 4, 5, 6 months. Found him to be very intriguing. His name is Grandville. I call him Sadiq. I'm going to call him by his Muslim name, even though the check that I write for him says Grandville. let me ask you something. Let me get right at it, right? You know, I read this article. I read the article the guy wrote about you, right? And
yes.
and I, you know, it's like one of those things where you know a person you don't know him.
Yes.
You write on this block because you have family who write
yes.
up on this block. And in one of the articles, you said that you walked here. You got here from Chester.
Yes.
How did that happen?
This is not so much of a long story, but I was just faced with a lot of responsibility with my mother, coming from a single parent family, and it just with a lot of the social acceptance, because I was at that age, like that high school age where.
But you was telling me that you was raising your sister and brother or something.
Yes. So.
But how old were you when you was raising them?
From the ages 8, 9.
And how old were you?
That's how old I was.
You were 8 years old?
8, 9. Because, you know, it's ironic, but a lot of individuals, they're have that expression that you have, you know, when I tell them that. But when you're in that situation, you just conform to what you have to do. If you 9, 10, 11 years old and your mom is single parent and she have to work 2, 3 jobs just to make ends meet, you have to take on that responsibility. So it never, to me at that time, I never really looked at it as a situation of adversity or, you know, of hardship that I was dealing with. I just thought it was the norm. This is what I'm supposed to do.
So if you were 8, how old were your sister and brother?
They was ranging the ages of 7, 6.
Did you know your father?
Not really. He was murdered when I was about 1 years old. Yeah, and my father's side of the family is from Delaware. That's what ultimately led me back to Wilmington.
Well, take me through that. I mean, what I read was you actually hitchhiked or got on a bus.
Yeah.
And did you know where you were going?
I was trying to make it to my grandmom's house over South Bridge. The crazy part about the bus situation, though, I walked from Chester. My mom sent me on an errand with me and my little brother. I took my little brother over a sister's house, and I told my little brother, wait about 15 minutes, then asked the sister to call my mom and tell her that Sadiq ran away.
So you pretty much ran away from home?
Yes.
How old were you?
14.
Wow. But why? Because of the pressure?
Just the pressure, exactly. The pressure, and it was different pressures. It was the responsibility pressure, the peer pressure going to school, and you might only have 2, 3 pair of pants, and you know, I was going to Chester High at the time, and brothers was coming in with all, you know, so it was just, and I guess when you're younger, it really don't affect you as much as when you're getting older and you're trying to find some identity, you know.
You know, it's funny, but you say that, Sadiq, and it seems to me that it took a little courage too. But how did you know your grandmother would even take you in?
I didn't know.
Okay.
I was just going to try to make it. And actually, it's a Wawa on Philadelphia Pike, and it's a bus stop right there. I was tired from the walking, and the little bag I had with a couple clothes, it started tearing. It was like a dollar store bag, and no offense against the dollar store, I ain't saying bags, you know, but it started tearing, and when I was trying to fix it up, a bus pulled up, and when he opened up the door, I got on there, and I think at that time the buses was $1.15, but I didn't have the money. But I think the bus driver knew, because he paused for a minute, and then he just said, "Just sit on the bus, man."
In a crazy kind of way, did that teach you survival skills? I mean, like, let's move up. Then at some point you had to survive.
Yes.
Right. So now you're in the streets, right?
Yes.
So you're making fast money.
Yes.
So you took that as a survival mechanism. In my mind, I would think that would make me understand about survival, because you had to be a man. Then you come in here and you're like, man, I gotta make any way I can.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
It's you know,
Am I
when
right?
yeah, I think you're absolutely right. But when I think about it in retrospect now, I think survival skills sometimes are natural.
Okay.
You know, when you face with adversity or when you essentially have to survive, natural instincts kick in, and some individuals have it in certain levels, and some individuals have it in other levels. You know, meaning like some individuals are leaders and some individuals are followers. However, that means of survival still is natural. So you can be a natural leader or you can be a natural follower, but you will find some way to survive. So what I did was just, if anything, like you said, I just, you know, use that as momentum, or use that as something to reflect on, so I can continue to still, you know that this is something I can do.
When did you convert to Islam?
Convert back.
Yeah.
I say convert back.
Okay.
Yeah, because while we was younger, you know, that was the religion of the household. So that was just the religion. When I had my little experiences in the street, I deviated from the religion. But once I was incarcerated, you know, and that's when I got back on.
What were you incarcerated for?
Selling drugs, gun charges, different things of that nature.
That's
you know.
interesting. And also, what I also want to let people know, also you was in college for a little while, right?
Yes, I was going to Dale State. Dale Tech for a semester, then I transferred to Dale State University.
How much time did you do?
11 years.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
And what did you learn out of that experience, and how have you been able to translate it now? Because you and I talk a lot.
Yes.
And the reason why I'm asking you, right, because I'm hoping that this interview would touch somebody. You know what I mean? Even, and I think you have an incredible business mind. I mean, the reason why I say this, Sadiq, and this is all sincerity, I mean, you do 11 years in prison. Now you're working in Senator Coons' office, a United States Senator.
Yes.
That's 1% of the people that do that. How did you transfer that? And how did you, and I'm going to ask you 3 or 4 different questions, right? Because this is good. And how do you keep that anger bottled up? Because I would imagine that I would be angry at somebody.
Let me see. Which question to answer first?
Either way you want to go. Either way you want to go.
I think I touch base with the anger. I don't believe that there is any anger, even with the time that I've done, because I believe everything happens for a reason. Unfortunately, you know, some individuals may say that in order for me to become the person that I became, incarceration had to be a part of that journey. But I like the person that I become today, to the degree where if incarceration is something that I had to experience in that journey in order to become that person, I would do it all over again. So therefore, it's no anger when you like the person that you become. You know, the incarceration experience, I believe that it teaches you that prison is designed to tear individuals apart.
Why do you say that?
Because I believe just the way it's structured. I believe prison is designed. For example, if you come visit me in prison, that procedure and everything that you have to go through in order to come see me, and the way different things are structured in prison, I believe is designed for you to say, you know what, man, I'm not going back down there and seeing Sadiq no more. Because I just had to go through too much. You know, the dude, he pat me down and I got to get searched and it's a wall and I have to be down there an hour before the visit and it's just too much hassle. Which on the flip side, when you don't come, it helps, or it creates like resentment in the distance between the individual that's incarcerated too. Because then you feel like the loved ones don't care that much for you. Oh, they didn't even come, or why didn't, you know, they ain't writing me back, and different things of that nature. So it's not designed for individuals to grow together. It's designed for individuals to be distant. When you understand that, then you will not be so angry with that experience. because you'll understand what the experience is created to do.
Let me ask you a question. Oh, this is good. This is good. I'm glad you talking openly about this. What would you? And I don't even know how the hustle game was when you were hustling, making money or whatever. What do you see different then to now? And had you ever feared for your life, or had you ever been in one of those kind of situations?
I have feared for my life. I think you fear for your life every day when you are in that lifestyle, because, like you said, it's the ultimate cutthroat form of survival. The difference between then and now, a lot of the young brothers, out here today, I don't think that they just have a little bit of the respect, that individuals had when I was in the game, and maybe individuals before me. To the point, I'm gonna give you an example. Although I was in the game, if an older lady was walking to the store, or if we was all in front of her house and she came outside, everybody would get off the step though, because that's my mom, whoever she is, and everybody, we still gonna respect the elderly. I don't want y'all hustling in front of my house. Okay, I'm sorry about that, mama. And we just go somewhere else. Now, the younger generation, now they don't even respect that. So it's just the little morals that came with the game. Although you were involved in something negative, you still had morals with it, because it was all about survival.
Do you have any regrets?
No, because if I wouldn't be the person I'd be now if I did.
What would you do differently?
Nothing.
If you had to do a little bit again the same way?
Yes. Oh, the reason why is,
That's
and
okay.
I'm gonna give you.
I mean, I appreciate your honesty.
I think if I turned one way instead of the other, I think if I went up here instead of going down there, it's a strong possibility I might not even be here talking to you right now. I think that any person who has lived through an adversity, that you're only here to teach people from it, from that experience, because it's so easy for you to not be here. So all the little turns and all the little lumps and bumps that I experienced, the reason why I'm still here is so that someone can learn from it. Or I could just, be going.
What is your future?
My future is to just continue to maintain, take care of my family, be the best that I can be with anything that I put my heart to, anything that I'm involved with. I really would love to give back to the community, and I would really love to, for my story to be an inspiration to other individuals who may be out there, like you said, looking at your show, that they can say, I can do it because somebody like Sadiq did it.
God, I didn't really want to go this deep, but this is, I'm enjoying this conversation, Grandville. How difficult, right, is it for you to be a father and you've never seen a father?
I think it's...
Like, my father didn't grow up in my household.
Yes.
I mean, and I had these conversations with my son. You know what I mean? I said, I'm learning because my mother raised me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I gotta be a better father than the father who wasn't here.
Yes.
So and so I'm interested in hearing your answer to that, because there's so many people like you.
Yeah. It's amazing that you say that, because that's exactly how I feel. I think to a degree you have to try to be innovative, because as a mother, she can only teach you but so much on how to be a man. So it just comes to a point where, because you haven't had that male structure, you may be able to lean on individuals. Just like it's conversations that me and you've had, Storm, where I've used those conversations as just like little bullet points to and learning experiences to give and pass on to my children. So you try to utilize the other male figures that you may have in your life who came and gone, but sometimes you just have to be innovative also, based on conversations that you may have with your mom, that you may have noticed something that she said that I can't do. Do you understand? Does that make sense to you?
No,
I'm not a man, so I can't teach you to be A, B, and C. So if you listening to that when you get older and now you're a man and you have that opportunity to teach, you reflect on when your mother told you the things that she couldn't do because she's not a man, and you try to be innovative in trying to carry out those responsibilities or those lessons that she just admitted that she couldn't do because she wasn't a man.
You know, you do realize, right, that you've seen the low of the low and the highs of the high?
Yes.
I mean, just that in a sense is interesting to me, sitting here interviewing you, and interesting because I know you and you and I have had intimate private conversations.
Yes.
So I know you've seen the low of the low and the high and the high. So what motivates you now? When you wake up, what do you pray about? What moves you?
One of the strengths is I appreciate the fact that, you know, God still gave me breath to wake up. You know, that alone is motivation, and I appreciate the fact that he was there for me when I was experiencing the lows of the lows. You know, and it was times it was times when I was incarcerated where I remember I shared the story with my mother one time. I think I've reached a point where I was done. You know, I think every person reaches a point who've experienced long-term incarceration where the time just took a toll on you. And I was just done. I just couldn't do no more. And, you know, and I prayed that day and I asked God, I said, listen, I can't do no more. I need your help right now, you know. And but he remembered the name though. He was there for me. So when I wake up every morning, I'm appreciative just for the fact that I'm here instead of there, because, you know, he was there for me. So you carry that inspiration, you carry that, you know, that faith, and you hope that aura, you know, just somebody else can feed off of it and understand that just waking up is enough to be appreciative for. Anything else that comes with it is just sky's the limit.
Wow.
You know.
You know, I'm so glad that you didn't quit, because just think of how many people you couldn't have helped if you quit. And you know, it's amazing if we probably did 6 interviews a day, and everybody's spirituality is different, but most people go back on the spirituality. Even if you think about Ivan with his daughter, if you talk about John Carney with his father, you know what I mean? People keep going back to the prayer and the spirituality. I mean, being Muslim, Catholic, Christian, you know what I mean? It's going back to the spirituality. And I'm hoping that you come and do other interviews with us, because we're going to keep an ongoing series. So I don't want to get everything out of you now. I want to say, and we got some pizza for you.
Okay.
This guy can eat.
Listen, let me say something. You know when you're successful when you have your name written on the cuffs of your shirt, Stormy.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah.
Stormy, yeah. and I don't shy away from it. I'm like, look, I would have had. You know, it's so funny because a lot of times in our community, right? Oh no. I like wearing Rolexes.
Yeah.
I like the names. I like the tailor-made stuff. Yeah. You know, because we should strive for that.
Exactly.
You know, and why wouldn't you want to strive for more? And why wouldn't we? And it's legal.
Yeah, exactly.
I work.
That's the key.
You know, I work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a good point. And I think that at some point, the next time we talk, we're going to talk about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about economic empowerment, because we have to do that. Because why shouldn't you want anything better? Because everything we talked about.
Yeah, exactly.
When you talk about your mother, your father, and your kids, you want more than your parents had, and you want your kids to have more than you have.
You know, when you
feel me?
Like exactly when you spoke about that story that was in the newspaper, one of the statements I made in that newspaper, the thing that I feel good about, there's no better feeling than you buying yourself a new car than when you help somebody else buy a new car. You know.
So you say nothing different than what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And you should want that, man.
Exactly.
And I think that we should say that to people. People
exactly.
who are watching this. you know, that you should always want more. And I think I got some innovative guys right here in this office right now. And these guys were talking to me about how we're going to do this show and giving me ideas. And because I want to grow. And that's why I ask you those things, because you're going to help somebody grow.
Exactly.
But I do want to thank you. I tried to interview in the interview 5 minutes ago, but you keep talking.
Yeah.
You my brother,
appreciate
man.
it.
You're going to be back though, right? Height of your business, like the height where you're like, wow, I done made $1 million.
Now, are you talking about
Holly
when
Enterprise.
was the first million, or when was the first real big?
Whichever one, you could go either way.
The first million came like in 98. 98 was like the first where I did over $1 million in sales. I think I did like 1.1 in sales.
Wow, okay.
The biggest number came in 2005, where I done a little over 3 million.